Hello there. I'm Holy Trinity Council member Chad Cuxey, sharing my December council meeting devotion. When you pick which month to do a devotion, December really seems like a gimme. Talk about Christmas, it's a sure thing. At least it seemed that way a year ago when I picked the December 2020 devotion. You all remember last year, right? 2019, which was only about 4 million days ago. James says in his 4th chapter, "Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go to such and such a town and spend a year there, doing business and making money. Yet you do not even know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wishes, we will live and do this or that." A few weeks ago, my wife Ellie and I were talking about the year that 2020 has been. She remarked that in some ways, it seemed like it flew by. In other ways, it was interminable. The nerd in me feels like 2020 is a database without an index key. It's all mixed up with no reference points. There was a lockdown in March. I did my taxes and a census, and I voted somewhere in there. School started and stopped more than once. But there was no big Thanksgiving family get-together, no Mother's Day meal, no 4th of July fireworks or summer camp. Just a lot of floating days that sort of seemed the same as the day before, whether you spent it at home or at work or someplace else. I spent mine mostly at a nearly empty Battelle trying to do laboratory work, each day praying that none of my family or friends would get sick, wishing things would get easier for those that are sick and for those that are serving the sick. When did we get haircuts? Was that in June or was it in September? Did we even carve pumpkins this year? When exactly did I decide that this beard was a good idea? What we need is an anchor, a reference point. One of our favorite hymns at home is, "My hope is built on nothing less," otherwise called the Navy hymn. It's a favorite as several members of our family served in that branch. It's not exactly a Christmas song, but it's come up several times in the last few weeks, maybe subconsciously. And it's really no wonder with lyrics like, "On Christ the solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. When darkness veils his lovely face, I rest on his unchanging grace. In every high and stormy gale, my anchor holds within the veil." There are a few good anchor points in 2020 to pick from. My son Joey and I were still able to go out and trick-or-treat. I do remember getting together with the rest of council for our annual dinner. I do remember the novelty of our online Easter service. And even though it feels like just yesterday that I missed that Memorial Day parade, here we are at Advent, good old reliable. And it turns out that even though all those other events were stripped away, canceled, or postponed until better days, here we are back at Christmas. And it seems magnified this year. People started putting up lights in the neighborhood around that missing parade, I think. They couldn't wait, falling back on one of the only reliable anchors in the storm that was 2020. So yeah, my gimme devotion took an unexpected turn when the year did the same. It wasn't a gimme. Harder than my previous devotions about summer camp or the history of the church. This one has an existential Bible verse and invokes the Navy. So Merry Christmas. There are no gimmies. We don't know what will happen next year, month, or day. But we can be sure of God's care for us because of his gift for us. In a time of floating days, truly eternal and unmovable is this anchor. In our rush to get through a year with no fireworks, did you ever need a better reminder that God's love is the only real anchor? After all, Emmanuel means God with us. Merry Christmas to you all. Emmanuel. Amen.